In the heart of Texas, an unexpected catalyst emerges, potentially igniting ancient prophecies and modern day conflict in the Middle East. The catalyst? A red cow, believed by some to hold the key to fulfilling a prophecy that could alter the course of history and of future. Imported to Israel by groups holding fervent beliefs, these red cows symbolize more than livestock. They represent a biblical prophecy that intertwines with the fabric of ongoing tensions between Israel and Palestine. Now, the planned sacrifice of these cows is not just a religious ritual, it is a controversial step towards an ambition that has simmered for centuries. The desire to build the third temple at the very site where the Al-Aqsa Mosque currently stands stirs deep emotions and raises alarms. This ancient mosque, revered in Islam, stands on land which is sacred to Muslims, making the prospect of its demolition a spark for potentially explosive reactions. Now, for the Zionists, the vision of a new temple is certainly inspiring, but they instill fear in others, in this case, Muslims and all the other people who believe in global peace. The implications of such an act transcend borders, threatening to unleash a wave of outrage across the Muslim world and beyond. Political analysts predict severe repercussions, stretching from local unrest to international disputes. The act of sacrifice, a symbol of purification and dedication, becomes a focal point of division. As the red cow grazes quietly, the shadow of its fate looms large over the region. The potential for this ancient ritual to propel a modern conflict reveals the intertwined nature of faith, identity, and land. Now, for the context, Zionists want to build the third temple, and the cost of that is the demolition of Al-Aqsa Mosque. Now, if that is demolished, it will cause an outrage globally. Of that, there is no doubt. But the question is, why is it that it's happening now? Well, in the quest for peace and sanctity, the red cow, which by the way is not just a cow, there are believed to be 5 heifers or cows. The prophecy underscores the complexity of reconciling deeply held beliefs with the realities and the contested land. Now, as the world watches, the hope remains that the dialogue and understanding will pave the path forward. But if there is one thing that we know about the Zionists is that when it comes to peace, there is all talk, but there is no walk. What can happen in this current conflict, well, that can be unprecedented. Mind you, it is reported that 9 times since Moses, peace be upon him, such sacrifice has taken place, or at least it was pretty close to it, but this time it is different. Now, why is it different? Well, because finding such heifers is 1 in thousands when it comes to the chances, the probability of it. Why? Well, because they all have to be pure red, including their hooves. And they have to be age of 3 at the time of sacrifice, which is now expected that it will happen in April 2024. So that is one thing, that they actually have these heifers, and what will happen is they will be sacrificed and then they will be burned, and then their ashes will be mixed in water, and then certain Zionists will be purified, and that is how, according to their religion, they will become qualified to demolish Al-Aqsa and create or rebuild the third temple. Problem with this idea is that it will not go down very well with Muslims. And Christians, at least some Christians, are also on board. Now, this is what we already know, but there are some other things that are important and they're worth mentioning. Number one of those is that why is it that the Christians are taking interest, and the people who believe that this is just a fringe group, it is not part of Israel's national policy, I hope that is the case, because if this does become to fruition, the results can be catastrophic for the world. But it does not look like that it is just a couple of groups that are doing this, because to my understanding, the cattle export is outlawed in the US, or at least from Texas, you cannot fly them out. So the way around was that these heifers were classed as pets and then they were shipped to Israel. How do you influence the government policy, and how do you manipulate it to the extent that you bypass a ban without the involvement of some very serious people, i.e., the governments? That's a very important question, and it should be taken very seriously. Secondly, the war in Gaza is already ongoing, and there are a number of people of Hamas that are in the West Bank as well. So what will stop these Zionists, who are known for their fabrication and distortion of facts? They don't mind lying at all. What will stop them from coming up a cooked up story of certain Hamas members, or what they call, they entered into Al-Aqsa and they are seeking refuge there. Now, these are the people who have been destroying mosques in Gaza, hospitals and schools. For them, it is just another building which is going to be blown up because of the apparently are in there. Now, that could be one scenario. Another could be, oh, it was just an accident. So this is another thing that could happen, and that could cause the demolition of Al-Aqsa. The world has to wake up to the fact that what is happening cannot be accepted. You cannot simply hang the fate of the world with some cows. The world needs to do something about it.